Hello. I know that I said that my next video would be about how to do the perfect applique, but when a teachable moment comes up in the course of what I'm doing throughout the day, I like to take that opportunity to show that. And I had a question that came up about how to add shirts that are a different size to your quilt, and that came up while I was cutting these last night. So these are all cut at 14 by 14 and a half inches. Now I had some shirts, let me get those, that came up that we're going to need to be, they can be 14 inches wide, but they have to be longer than 14 inches. Like this shirt right here. This is, let me get my ruler. This shirt would need to be cut instead of 14 by 14, it would need to be cut 14 by 17. Now the way you figure this is your quilt, this is a queen size quilt. It will be laid out 5 shirts by 5 shirts. So when you have one this big, then you would pick the biggest one and go with that size, which is 14 by 17 on this one. Now, then you go through and you pick out 4 more shirts that will work with this. So you try to pick out 4 of the largest designs that will go with this number 5 shirt. So this is number 1. I chose this one for number 2. This is a long one too, and I believe it would fit the 17. Oh yeah, that would fit the 17-inch length. And this one, I would have done it in a 14 by 14 because it just barely misses. But I needed some more, so I pulled this one out. And then this one, roll tide. This one measures, it would have cut off the end of the end and the end of this if I had made it 14 by 14. And just because this is in a stretch like this, I would still have cut a 14 by 14 inch block. But now I'm going to cut it 14 by 17 so it will match the other 4 shirts that I'm going to put in a row by themselves. Now the strips that you cut for in between that you put in between the shirts, you would need to cut them at 17 and a half inches to compensate for the extra length. Now you can put this row in the middle of your quilt, the top of your quilt, the bottom of your quilt. You can just pick one row that you want to set this larger shirts in. But when I get, somebody sends me shirts, the very first thing that I do is go through and look at each shirt. And that will kind of give me a game plan of what I need to do. Now these shirts all fit in the 14 by 14 inch square that I normally cut my shirts. So I've cut out 20 like this. This will be 4 rows of 5. And these all fit perfectly in that 14 inch. And then I come to this mammer jammer right here, and that changed the course of my quilt. So 4 rows of my quilt will be 14 by 14s, and 1 row will be 14 by 17s. It will set together just exactly the same as I do all of my other memory quilts. It's just this row will be longer. And you would need to cut, for my quilt, it's going to be 5 shirts wide, so I would cut 6 strips that are 17 and a half inches long, sew them to the sides of the shirts, and that will make my 5th row, and it can be set anywhere inside in the quilt. 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th row. Typically, I put them either at the bottom or the middle row. Middle row kind of balances it out, but it's totally up to you what you want to do. But I used to make too much of a big deal about making my videos because I would make sure that I had this, that, and now I'm just going to do them more casually and just as a moment comes up that I think you could benefit from, I want to show you what I have figured out a long time ago. So that's how you insert larger shirts into your design, is you would pick out, if you're going to do a twin size and you're going to do it 5 shirts long and 3 shirts wide, you would pick out, if you had one shirt that was too big for the 14 by 14 inch pattern, you would pick out, take the one and then pick you out 2 more to go with it and cut them all the same size. And that might be 14 by 16. You just need to, figure that out. Now, if you get into wider shirts where it's too wide for your design, that's a whole nother ball game, because all of your shirts need to be, the same width. And, you go through your shirts, and if your pattern needs to be 15 inches, and then go with 15 inches on all the shirts. All the shirts. You can do a 15-inch square, and then on your bigger shirts, you would do 15, pick your longest one, and decide what that row will be. And I hope I've explained that well. I had a complaint at about 6 o'clock this morning that I was not very good at explaining my trip around the world quilt, that did not give a very good explanation, and that I should have shown how the strips went together. And I thought I did show all of that. I did not lay them out on the floor and show it that way, but I thought I did explain that well, but apparently I did not. So I hope I've explained how to put in shirts that are longer than your regular pattern. So thank you all so much for watching. I've got to go help my husband. He's about to have a heart attack. He's trying to find the Alabama ball game on the internet. We do not have satellite or cable. We have Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon Prime. And he's trying to find it on Hulu. Our device on our television does not recognize Hulu. So we have to find it on the internet, on Hulu, and then do Ethernet cable from the computer to the television. He's about to have a stroke. So let me go and help him. And I am going to do that applique video later on today, but I've got about 500 things to do before I can get to that. So thank you all so very much for watching. Have a great Saturday. It's a beautiful, beautiful day here, and I appreciate you watching, and I love your comments so much. Thank you. Bye-bye.